Welcome to another episode of the Group Parlay podcast. As always, Kevin Osoyan, Nick Strom, Andy Simo. TikTok is banned. It is banned. Sadly, Jamison Williams also banned our chances of winning yesterday. He just, 69-yard run, only one catch on the game. Hilarious. Just hilarious. Shout out me, though, Texans. Shout out Andy Reid. Shout out Andy Reid. Shout out Matt Ariza for getting a cover. Oh, most legendary cover we've ever seen. So I'll let Kevin recap yesterday's picks.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. And that line opened at like 7.5 for the Chiefs, moved to like 9.5 by yesterday. So I'm sure a lot of people are impacted there, including us. So, um, like you said, unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Jameson Williams was nowhere to be found with one catch. He did throw a pick and get a touchdown, so he was all over the feeds, but not in the right way. Not getting catches. Uh, Texans plus 10.5. That was absolutely crazy. Punt at the end of the game. I had turned it off. I turned it back on and rewound to see what you guys were
The
talking
exact
about.
same thing, yeah.
Punt in the end of the game. They decided to just run it. They run the clock and run in the back of the end zone to move that spread over and lose by
9.
is it 9 instead of 11? Yeah. And when they missed that extra point, you just knew we were screwed. They saved the day. Crazy. And then I had Jaden Daniels over 237.5 passing yards. Um, First half hit here. He was incredible. Just didn't miss a throw, it seemed like. He ended with 299 passing yards. So we move on after that loss. 5-14, down 8.5 units. Still looking pretty good. I'm 12-5-1, Andy 12-6, Nick 10-8.
Yep, still a good month. Shout out Kevin. You said 8 in a row.
8 in a row. With
a
push.
push in there.
Hot.
And apparently Trump might have TikTok back available Monday, and they're going to give them like 90 more days to sell
I
it
did
or
see
something.
that, yeah.
So I don't know if that's fake news. Seems real.
So stay with us.
Seems real. Hey, we still got Instagram. Hey, I'm not worried.
It's where the commenters are. They're on Instagram. Shout out the commenters.
Yes. The action's on Instagram.
The comments are going up, followers going up. It's okay. Life will move on.
But we move on. Another day. Sunday, NFL again, playoffs. So looking forward to chillaxing, off work tomorrow, watching football. So let's get into the picks. Kev, why don't you start off? Have you started?
Ooh, switch up. Yeah.
Switch up.
I am going Khalil Shakir, 50-plus receiving yards, playing the Ravens today, obviously. And he had 61 yards last game in their playoff game against the Broncos. Before that, he hadn't hit it in a couple games. He had 106 against the Rams, so he's a little sporadic on his usage. But against the Ravens, they are not going to be able to run the ball. Ravens are the number one rushing defense. And James Cook's line is like 50 yards. So they are fully expecting pass.
Yeah.
And Ravens secondary, they are second to worst in passing yards against per game and passing attempts per game. So everyone passes against them. That's where the action is going to be. That's where the yards are going to be. They give up 244 passing yards per game. There should be plenty for Shakir to get his share of 50. That's really all it is.
Yeah, I think the Bills, they need like that one guy in the playoffs, and I think Shakir is that guy. He's also electric, like running after the catch. He's electric at that.
Yeah, they don't have enough weapons for anyone else to do it all. I mean, it's only so much like Kincaid can get, and Cooper's been there.
Yeah, Cooper's been non-existent.
Yeah, Cooper's been non-existent.
And Coleman's not anything. So
All right. I'll segue that into my picks. I'm sticking with that game, but I'm going Bills plus 2.5, taking the dog at home. Kind of shocked that this line was, that the Ravens are favorited. Bills are 9-0 at home. The weather it's going to be Bills weather. It's going to be 20 degrees, cold. Obviously, it's cold in Baltimore, but not as cold as Buffalo. And the Bills, they're kind of the hot team. They blew out Denver last week. Their defense looked great, but it's two similar teams. I mean, kind of a coin flip game. number 2 offense in Buffalo versus the number 3 offense in the Ravens. Both are top 10 in scoring defense. So, I just love Josh Allen here. I think him at home is going to be a huge, huge push. Plus, he doesn't take sacks. He's electric with the ball. They're both great playmakers, but I don't think that the Ravens are going to be able to pass as well because Zay Flowers is out. So, or at least he's doubtful. I think that's going to be a huge impact. They don't really use Mark Andrews outside of the red zone. Rashad Bateman, he's not a number 1. I'm really going with the Bills at home here.
I like this pick. I was leaning Bills as well. They feel like the right team.
And
and that Ravens secondary is
the
a problem.
Bills they're getting healthy at the right time. Matt Milano's coming back. We mentioned Cooper, but he's back. I mean, I don't think they've really any injuries to report, and Zay Flowers being out, I'm like, that's a bigger impact than I think people realize because he's kind of their only target outside of Mark Andrews in the red zone.
I like it. I'm afraid that we were all leaning Bills, though.
Well, the split is pretty much 50-50 on this game. So
it's 100% on this panel.
Well, this panel is this panel. It's just 3 people out of
It's a sharp panel.
I feel like it's the people. It's the people's pick. Everyone wants the Bills to win. Everyone wanted Detroit last night. It's just I don't know. It scares me. It's a coin flip.
All the Bills have to do is guard the tight ends. I'm looking at last week's box score against the Steelers. No Zay Flowers in that game as well. It was just Likely and Mark Andrews for the most part. Everyone else had like 1 catch for Aguilar, Bateman.
Gotta stop the run. You gotta stop
the run. If they stop that run. He had how many yards did Derrick Henry have last game? He had 186 yards last game. That's
that is like the one thing that scares me is the Bills' run defense isn't the best, but I don't even think it matters really.
This is like MVP game. I know it's not supposed to be postseason, but you got the Lamar Allen MVP talks. Like to me, like if Lamar can go off today without Zay, like give it to him probably. But if the Bills win, it's my boy Josh.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Should be an elite game. It's going to be hard to beat the first half of yesterday, but I'm hoping for a shootout.
I think it'll be something similar like that. Like even against good defenses, the Bills, their offense is just so electric.
It's a high number, 51.5. So they're expecting Vegas is expecting points for sure.
All right, Stroud.
Yep, and I'm the only one going to the Eagles-Rams game. I'm going Eagles -5.5 against the Rams. They played earlier in November. I know it's a while ago, but Eagles beat them 37-20, and they destroyed them on the ground. Saquon rushed for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Eagles combined rushed for 314 yards. If you didn't know, it's supposed to snow in Philadelphia. I'm seeing 2 to 4 inches during game time, and I think the Eagles are going to run the ball. I think Saquon's going to have a huge day here. It's really what I'm going on, and this is a fun little stat that Matthew Stafford sucks in the snow and or rain in his career. Matthew Stafford in the snow and rain is 1-8 with 14 touchdowns and 11 picks. So give me the Eagles at home. Fans are going to be loud. Run the ball. Get to Matthew Stafford. That Eagles defense is flying around right now. So I like the Eagles at home. Better football team. Rams feel-good story is coming to an end.
I think it's surefire that the Eagles are winning this game. Just got to get to the number, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great Matthew Stafford stat. It's like one of those, it's kind of random, but it's actually very applicable. I mean, look at like Tua Tagovailoa, and it's like, under 60 degrees. The dude is just non-existent. So those stats do matter in my mind. And the one thing that scares me is like Jalen Hurts he can't throw a football. But their ground game it's the best in football. Maybe behind them.
I actually like that it's snowing because they can just run the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Their defense is so good. Like that's all that matters.
Elite. They're the best defense.
Yeah, they are.
And the Rams rank in the 20s in every defensive category.
They've been hot.
They have been much better down the stretch, but they played some bad. Like they played the Jets, the Cardinals. They held some teams to 9 points, and then you had Sam Darnold last week. I think it's going to be a little different, but hopefully, pray.
All right. So to recap our picks, Khalil Shakir, 50-plus receiving yards at minus 125. Bills plus 2.5 at minus 132. Eagles minus 5.5 at minus 144. Comes out to plus 418 for today's parlay.
Let's go. No
Let's get it.
rules.
That's right. Let's get it.